Hey guys, I'm Dominic Selzy, and you're watching Slide Job Dom.
On September 23, 2023, I posted the first installment of the Vanished Talent series, a series I made with the sole purpose of explaining why drivers retired early or just kind of disappeared from the community. In the comments of that video, I was suggested many drivers like Bobby Davis Jr., PJ Chesson, Joey Saldana, Stevie Smith, and a handful more. Out of all of these drivers suggested, one in particular caught my eye, and that was Lance Blevins. Out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, Lance was one of the most anticipated drivers in the 1990s, and not only that, the Citgo 21 was so badass. Even though I'm 20 and wasn't even born before Lance's last race, I was still pretty familiar with him as a kid since Racing Champions mass-produced these diecast. If I'm being honest, there really isn't much online about his racing career other than statistics, but fortunately I was able to find a good bit of information on Lance's career, a possible reasoning for his early retirement, and something I think you guys will find interesting. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Kicking off his racing career at just 9 years old, Lance had his first recorded race in the sprint car back in 1993, which he would have been around 16 years old. He competed in 7 World of Outlaws events that year, including the Knoxville Nationals. He made 2 features, a 17th place finish at Batesville Motor Speedway and a 22nd place finish at Tulsa Speedway. That year, he also had quite a bit of success in the ASCS Sprint Week, claiming 4 top 5s out of the 5 races he competed in, 2 of those being 2nd place finishes. To cap off the season, Lance competed in the 93-94 Slick 50 Sprint Car World Series, which he didn't perform that bad considering the amount of bad luck he was having.
Big puff of smoke and Blevins is gone. Blow it up coming off turn number 2. Battling hard for 3rd spot.
What a great start.
Ken and Losowski get together. Kinser caught him.
Steve Kinser almost is over. We've got 2-3 upside down to the backstretch.
Hillenburg.
He made 3 features, his worst being the one you just saw with the DNF, and 2 11th place finishes. A decent ending for a rookie season, especially someone as young as 16 years old. For the next few years, Lance showed improvement, claiming his first top 5 finish with the Outlaws in 94, and almost quadrupling the amount of top 10s he had that year in 95. He also competed in his first ever Chili Bowl in 94 and actually finished 19th in a qualifier, but unfortunately didn't make it to the main show. During a prelim night at the 95 Knoxville Nationals, Lance took one of the scariest hits he's had in his career, which may have left him injured. If we take a look at his statistics, he didn't return until a full 2 months later at the Winter Nationals. I haven't found any confirmation on this, but it's easy to see that being the reason. 1996 is when things started to pick up in Lance's career, competing in his first ever full-time season with the Outlaws. He competed in every single race that season, making 79 features with 2 top 5s and 12 top 10s, placing 12th in points. By this point, Lance was considered to be a rising star, and spectators were becoming more familiar with him. After all, he did have one of the best looking cars out there. In 1997, he'd go on to claim his first and only recorded victory with the Knoxville Raceway Cup Sprint Series. He made around half of the features that season with the Outlaws, and continued to do so until 2000. This was also the year he took that wild-ass ride at Williams Grove.
And we've got a big problem as one car is over the fence in turn 4, and I believe it's Lance Blevins. Yes, Lance Blevins out of the fence down in turn 4. It catches, it's back in the dust. You see him? There he goes. Right up and over the guardrail. And a violent ride for Lance Blevins.
I think he cleared the fence.
Oh, there he is right there. Lance Blevins is out and Bobby Gerald is with him.
Lance, you scared us, man. You all right? Yeah, I think it was a little driver error. I went up there, just tried to get on the cushion. I just jumped it. It's nothing but my fault.
This is when the cracks began to show. In the article A Teenager to a Champion, an interview with Darren Pittman on the Drivers Project, he goes over the time he filled in for Lance in 1998. My first big break came in 1998 when Lance Blevins got taken out of his car by his father. I can still remember Joe Ray Blevins called my dad, and we were at the start of ASCS Speed Week at Creek County. He called and asked if I can fill in the following week for Lance at Oklahoma City. At that point, he wasn't sure how long he wanted me in the car, but it ended up being about 6 weeks. I really thought I was going to end up in the Blevins car to start the next year. I had finished the season in their car. Joe Ray had expressed that he was going to fill the car the next season, and I thought I had a really good chance of getting in that car, but they ended up hiring Jimmy Carr to drive it. If we take a look at Darren's statistics in the 21, he'd go on to claim 7 top 20 finishes, which for someone just starting off a 410 career wasn't too shabby. As for Jimmy Carr, I couldn't find any recorded races with him in the 21. Now I'm not sure if Darren remembered wrong, but it doesn't look like the 21 was driven by Jimmy at all. However, it does look like it was driven by someone else because Lance missed the first quarter of that 99 season, making his first race on May 25th at Lernerville. Just because Lance was in and out of that car within his final years with the series, he still had some good achievements, like making the 98 and 99 Knoxville Nationals and finishing in the top 20 both times. His final season came in 2000, but interestingly stopped midway through the season. He competed in every single event up until race 46. He had 5 top 5s and 9 top 10s, shaping out to be his best season yet. But July 2nd, 2000 at Eagle Raceway was Lance's final race with the Outlaws. For almost 3 straight years, Lance had no recorded races with any series until randomly in 2003, where he competed in an event with the ASCS Sooner region, placing 3rd at Oklahoma Sports Park. This was Lance's final race. News on him was scarce as everyone in the sprint car racing community was wondering where he went and why he had retired so abruptly after having what was shaped out to be his best season yet. However, things got interesting in spring of 2006. Racin' for a Livin' was a 2006 reality TV show made to give those who didn't have a lot of opportunities a shot at racing in the NASCAR Cup Series, as the grand prize was a NASCAR contract. A total of 50 drivers were chosen, but only 12 would be able to make it on the show. This would be settled by votes, where fans would go onto the show's website and vote for which drivers they wanted to see on the show. On April 6th, an article titled "Broken Arrow Man Chasing a NASCAR Dream" from News on 6 was posted onto the internet about Lance Blevins. They go over his job, a little backstory on his career, and states, Blevins is hoping a new reality TV show can help springboard his career. It's called Racin' for a Livin', and the winner will get to drive in the NASCAR Cup Series. Thousands of drivers have applied, they've narrowed the field down to 50, and Lance Blevins is one of them. Yes, you heard that right, Lance was in the top 50. Now whether or not he got enough votes is unknown, as the show only went on to release 1 episode. Information on the show is pretty scarce, with the only reliable website being IMDb, and even with that we're left with 2 photos, the cast, and a plot summary. As far as I know, that 1 episode is nowhere to be found. Either way, it's still pretty impressive that he made it to the top 50 considering the fact that thousands had signed up for the show. This was the last time the internet has heard from Lance. His absence from the community has sparked speculation from some, wondering the reason he retired and what happened to him. A post was made on the Hosehead forums in 2013 where this user gave a list of drivers asking what happened to him, one being Lance. Lefty Wilbury says, "I always thought Lance Blevins was going to be a future World of Outlaws champ like Donnie Schatz ended up being. I have no idea why he quit or what he does now, but it's too bad for the fans he doesn't race anymore. He was a lot of fun to watch." This other user answered for Dion Hindy, Jeff Shepard, Andy Hillenberg, Brian Paulus, and ends with, "Lance Blevins is a good one. Wonder whatever became of him." No one really has an answer. However, if we take a look at his statistics, it's easy to find a reason why. Other than 1996, he hadn't made more than 55 features a season. Even though he was competing in most races, he was struggling. which may have been the reason why he was quote-unquote taken out of his car in 1998. This may not be the exact reason, but it's definitely part of it, although it's still unclear why he stopped in 2000 despite making most features. It's also possible that it could have been money. With the car being owned by his father, they may not have had the budget to keep going and decided to call it a quits midway through the season. For now, it's unknown, but hopefully someday we'll get an interview. Lance's career may look lackluster on paper compared to other drivers we've went over in the past, but don't let that distract you from how talented he was. No, seriously, go back and watch some races from the 90s. There's a reason people are wondering why he retired. After 9 seasons, 1 win, and 21 top 5 finishes, Lance Blevins remains as one of the biggest what-ifs in sprint car racing. This is Slide Job Dom, and I'll see you guys next time.